Hi, good day, sir. We're from Group 12. My name is Tisok Yi.
My name is Karishmini.
My name is Vanitamba.
I'm Suri Sakaran.
I'm Saranya Perumal.
Okay, today we'll be talking about an article review titled Error Types in Malaysian Lower Secondary School Student Writing, a Corpus-Informed Analysis of a SVA, known as Subject-Verb Agreement and Copula B. It is written by 3 knowledgeable authors in 2020 and published from the UKM Press under the Southeast Asian Journal of English Language Studies. The research is quantitative, where data are collected in terms of essay, written by a number of 32 Malay secondary students in Kedah, and categorized into 4 types of error, namely misselection, omission, blend, and over-inclusion, with the use of corpus-based technique, subject-verb agreement, known as SVA, and Copula B. With this, I will then pass to my friend to explain the following.
Hi, sir. Today I'm going to explain the theme of the study. The theme of the study is grammatical dimension. In this research paper, the theme is to analyze the error type in English language writing among Malaysian students. The research paper attempts to investigate mistaken patterns in learners' writing by combining an error analysis EA framework with the corpus tagging technique. The study detects an analysis mistake linking with the SVA and Copula B in Malaysian lower secondary school students with writing using corpus-based approach. For the background of the study, research paper is the problem of Malaysian students' English language competence has always been a source of debate among educators. The problem of Malaysian students' English language competence has always been a source of debate among educators. This research paper article examines the uses of subject-verb issues, and Copula B in essay writing by secondary school students to address the English is taught as second language in elementary and secondary schools. This research paper revealed how learners in rural areas employ SVA and Copula B in their writings. Although the EA framework has been utilized in several second language studies, it is still helpful and relevant in today's environment since Malaysian learners continue to struggle with their accurate grammar after years of study. Moving to the next presenter.
Okay. So hence we can notice that based on the background of study, students from rural areas have problem using the English language correctly when the significant drop of proficiency in English language is high from rural area compared to students in urban area. So this is due to the perspective of quality context is not the same, where the English language context of for rural students was known as a foreign language rather than a second language. So thus, the objective of the study is to examine the problem of English language proficiency among Malaysian rural students by identifying and analyzing the use of SVA and Copula B in the essay written by the number of 32 Malay secondary school students that hails from Kedah, Malaysia. Okay.
Good day, everyone. So today I'll be explaining about the literature review of this article. So basically, this study shows that learners' lack of understanding of the linguistic system. Learners' errors are critical in improving second language teaching and learning, as errors provide valuable insight for learners to learn, make hypotheses about the language, and improve language learning. So secondly, as for methodology, this corpus-based study aims at identifying grammatical error, namely SVA and Copula B errors, in a self-compiled learner corpus. So based on these findings, constructive action should be taken to address Malaysian students' writing weakness. So students from rural areas should be given special attention because they have many weakness in applying good grammar in their work. so teachers will be able to focus on the learner's grammar education after detecting the type of errors. So the errors found in student writing can help language teachers in providing constructive comments to students on how to apply specific grammar rules. So lastly, the standard EA framework was used in this study. Because it is thought to become more suitable and easier for language teachers to recognize and comprehend common students' errors. To summarize the study's finding demonstrated that some students still struggle with correctly use SVA and Copula B. As a result, doing A is thought to be good alternative to discussing and explaining many type of language learners errors. Next slide. Okay. As for methodology, there are 32 numbers of from Malay students from rural secondary school in Kedah State were chosen to write essays in English. Objective of this study is to identify the type of errors found in the use of SVA and Copula B in the student writing. Students were instructed to write descriptive and narrative essay in each 4 session. A total of 128 essays were collected and annotated to show the part of speech of each word. So the data collection procedure, namely collecting data, identifying errors, classifying errors, analyzing errors, and explaining errors. These errors were categorized by 4 types, which is misselection, omission, blends, and over-inclusion errors. So they classify the errors of the student's essay by using these 4 different categories. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Now we'll be looking at the findings. The learner writing was analyzed and the subject-verb agreement and Copula B errors were recognized. The error found were later classified into 4 different categories: the misselection, omission, blend errors, and over-inclusion. However, one category of error that was not included is misordering because there were no errors from this category. A total of 475 errors were identified based on this analysis. The most common error committed was misselection, making up to 266 errors, followed by omission, totaled up to 132 errors, blend errors with a total of 42 errors, and over-inclusion with a total of 35 errors. Next, we'll be looking at the discussion. The findings in this article tells us that the lower secondary school learners faced challenges in choosing the right form of verb and subject to construct grammatically correct sentences. With regard to misselection errors, learners incorrectly selected singular be verb for plural subjects. Learners seemed confused about the singularity and the plurality of the subject as well as the verb. For instance, they used words such as is and was for most subjects without differentiating between the singular and plural nouns. In terms of omission errors, they were the second most common mistakes made by the learners, where they tend to omit the copula B. Blend errors and over-inclusion errors were also found in the learners' writings. Blend errors happen when the combination of 2 grammatical forms result in erroneous structure. However, over-inclusion errors refer to the double marking and also regularization errors that deal with unnecessary linguistic items in the formation of a verb. Next, we're going to look at the practical implications. The filtered error list can be used in the classroom because it contains the description and also the examples of the errors commonly made. Besides, students can amend their errors made. On top of that, this would help language teachers provide constructive feedback and also emphasis on specific rules. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good day, sir. I'm going to present about the strength and weakness. The author of the article seems like very agreeable with their collection and reasonable statement to significance of the research. The author have been used the Klaus-Steger novel for the reference to analysis the error techniques. There are some evidence of research paper as been highlighted in the article. English language development in Malaysia has implemented the various policies in order to introduce the new education. There are some national type of schools such as Tamil and Mandarin that consequently use the medium of English language. It will cause the students have difficulties in their writing. For the limitation is the mixed method of the study supposed to determine the pedagogical problem that may limit the confidence in the finding, which means the primary level of students might have a short-term learning or teaching, so they might not be suitable for the collecting data for the research. There must be a strong evidence for addressing the problem according to the level of the knowledge. For the strength is the collected information is qualitatively describe the errors of students' writing. The strength of the research paper is still acceptable because the level of details is valuable. For this research, they have created the new research question to do the research, to do the process to have done to measure their works for the research purposes. To move on to the next slide is the critical summary. The research is about the lower secondary of students in the grammatical parts, especially those who are come from rural areas. The research shows the majority of students are partially in the interlanguage, which means that second language learners interfere with the target language. Those errors can be classified into 5 categories such as misselection, blends, omission, over-inclusion errors. The most common errors are the tenses, preposition, verb or noun, and SVA, which means subject-verb agreement. Based on the research, the potential implication is to refine the list of error by giving them example. Next slide is the recommendation. First recommendation is like teacher can give example of sentence structure. They can use the modifier to refer to the words or phrases that used to describe in the sentence. Usually students are confused by putting modifier in the wrong place of the sentence. Second recommendation is the teacher can prepare the techniques based on the errors such as using media. Based on the type of errors found in writing, teacher can show a video based on the learning of errors. Third recommendation is like to make mistake through the learning atmosphere. Teachers have to build the opportunities for learning environment where students do not feel ashamed of their mistakes. In this way, students do not easily give up on their improvement to get correct solution. That's all from me. I will pass to the last presenter will be Sukha.
Thank you, Anita. Moving to the contribution to the field. From the research paper, we can know that this research paper makes pedagogical recommendation for enhancing language teaching and learning. While there have been several studies employing the EA framework, many of them have relied on the traditional method of finding mistakes by manually inspecting the data for probable linguistic flaws. Moreover, this research paper contributes to future studies by comparing language learners' first language system to the target language. The future study may be able to explain the reason for mistakes. Second, while the analysis given here allowed for the identification of SVA and Copula B mistake, it does not examine other grammatical features. Other than that, by comparing language learners' first language system to the target language, future studies may be able to explain the reason for mistakes. While the analysis given here allows the identification of SVA and Copula B mistakes, it does not examine other grammatical features. Why is beyond to the scope of the study to examine every single grammatical error in depth. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, that is all from us. Okay.